Good afternoon, students. So, today we shall study the last part of the story. As I said, this relations and functions is like a story which consists of three parts. First part was Cartesian product, second part was relations, and third one is functions. So, already we have studied what do we mean by Cartesian product, right? Also, we know what are relations. Now, coming to the last part of the story, that is functions. These functions will play a very critical role in the field of mathematics, students, because everywhere we will be studying these functions. Like, for example, suppose if I take polynomials, so those are also functions, right? Those are polynomial functions. In each and everything, we will be studying functions. So, what are functions? In simple language, it is some action or activity, some work you are doing, that is nothing but called as function. But as we are studying in mathematics, function is nothing but doing some mathematical work. So what is that work? Let us see. Okay, suppose I have the magic box. Suppose I have some magical box. Okay, and I'll instruct that magical box that whatever I'll give you, you have to give output as, we have to double it and give it as output. Okay, please try to understand, students. I am going with very simple examples so that it must be clear to you all. So I have one magical box. I shall instruct it that whatever I'll give you, you will have to double it and give. So if I give 10, it will give 4. If I give 4, it will give 16. If I give 100, it will give 200. So what it is doing, students? It is taking my input as 2 and giving output as 4. Means generally, it is taking an item or a thing or an object, it is making it double and then giving output, right? So basically, if I take generally as x, what it is giving, students? It is giving 2x. It is giving 2x. Similarly, like this matchbox, our function will work, students. What does function do? It will take the input, perform the operation, and then give us the output. Now you may be wondering what type of operations it may be performing. It may be anything, students. Operations like even squaring, it can square, it can subtract, it can add, it can take the modulus. I hope you know what do you mean by modulus. It can even take modulus, or any operation in mathematics it can, our function can take. So similarly, like this magic box, my function will work. What does it do? It takes the input, performs the operation, and gives the output. Right? This is just a simple language definition of the function. Now, there is one thing striking to our mind, that what is this function having to do with a relation? Right? As I told you now in simple language, what is function? You may say is that it is taking an input, performing the operation, and giving the output. But what this function has to do with relations? Let us study that. See, students, I am giving you two important statements. Very important. First statement is every function is a relation. Every function is a relation. But every relation need not be a function. Right now, you might be not understanding these statements properly, but these statements are going to help you very much, students. Yes. Okay. Yes, we will be sending the recorded links. Now observe here, students. I am saying that every function will be a relation, but every relation need not be a function. You will understand this statement more clearly when you will see the examples. Now let us try to understand what special type of relations are functions. See, every function will be a relation, but every relation need not be a function. There are only some special relations which are functions. Let us see them, how they look like. How we define such type of relations. Let us see. Before seeing the definition, first thing we have to see the notation. Means how we will denote the function. Suppose we have a function f. Suppose we have a function f from one set to another set. From one set to another set. Of course, we saw in relations, we take elements from the first set, we apply the relation, and then we see the elements in the second set, right? We saw something called as domain, range, and codomain also, right? Here also in function, this will be, of course, as I told you, every function is a relation. So my function f, suppose if I have a function f from set A to set B, how shall we denote it, students? We shall denote it like this. F is a function from A to B. F is a function from A to B. Because all the way along we can't sit and write this full statement, English statement, right? As we are mathematics students, will be very in hurry. So we have to complete the paper fast. So you will be using always mathematical shortcuts. So you will not sit and write the whole statement, students. Okay? So how you will write it? If I say I have a function f from A to B, then I will write it as f from A to B. But you will read it as it is a function from set A to set B. This is one thing. Another thing what I have is, if I have an ordered pair A comma B belonging to F. If I have an ordered pair A comma B belonging to F, this will be mathematically written as, see, now I am repeating. Suppose this is my function f. Already I am saying that it is a function f. And if some ordered pair A comma B belongs to f, then mathematically you will write it as f of A is equals to B. It is obvious, right? See what I told you. My function is nothing but my magic box. It takes the input, gives the output, right? So here this first component will be from the first set and the second component will be from the second set. So what my function is doing? It is taking the inputs from the first set. It is taking the inputs from the first set, operating the operation, performing the operation, and then giving the output, which is in the second set. So whenever an ordered pair A comma B belongs to F, then always it will be written as f of first component is equals to second component. Now is my voice correct? Is my voice audible enough, students? Yes? Check it. Okay. So these notations, please be careful. A function from set A to set B will be written like this. And suppose an ordered pair A comma B belongs to my function, then it will be written as f of first component is equals to second component. Because function is taking input from first set, that is A, and performing the operation and giving the outputs, which will be in the second set, that is B. Okay? One more thing. If this is true, then I have again two statements. B will be called as image of A under the operation, under the function f, and A will be called as pre-image of B under f. Very important. If this is true, suppose we have a function from A to B where ordered pair A comma B belongs to f, then this is true, right? F of A is equals to B. So this second component will be which will be in the second set will be called as image of A under the function f. Similarly, this A will be called as pre-image of B under the function f. So those elements which will be in the range, or you can even call range is subset of codomain, those elements which will be in the codomain will be called as images, and those elements which will be in the domain will be called as pre-images. Is that clear to everyone, students? These three things. First, how we denote function, and then this f of A is equals to B, and lastly this B is called as image of A under f, and A is called as pre-image of B under the function f. Are these three things clear to everyone? Yes? This is very important criteria, students. Functions. Study it thoroughly because you are going to use it again and again in your higher classes. Okay. Now once we have done with the notation, let us go for the actual definition of the function. Actual definition of the function, very important. Now as I told you, every function will be a relation, but every relation need not be a function, right? Only we have some special relations which are functions. So let us see what type of relations are functions. A relation is said to be a function. A relation is said to be a function if every element, suppose I am talking of the relation from set A to set B, okay? Suppose I am talking of the relation from set A to set B, then a relation R is said to be the function if every element, let me not take it as R, suppose we have two sets A and B, so a relation is said to be a function if every element of set A, will have one and only one image or output, you can say one image or output in set B. Very important definition, students. Try to understand. A relation is said to be a function if every element of set A, I am underlining these statements which are very important. Every element of set A will have one and only one image or output in the set B. Now you may be wondering, this is true in every case, right? So you might say, this is true in every case. So I can say that every relation is a function. But it is not true in some cases, students. Let us see some examples. Please write down this definition in your book. So while I am doing examples, you can verify the definition by seeing those examples. Okay? So is this definition in your notebook? Have you noted it down? Okay. So a relation is a function if every element of the set A has only one and only one image, or you can say output, in set B. Let us take examples. Suppose I have two sets. I am showing it through arrow diagram. Suppose this is my set A and this is my set B. Okay. Now suppose I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 elements in set A and similarly 5 elements in set B. Okay. Now my relation is, I am saying it as a relation. Okay. So my relation is defined as elements from set A. I'll take them, I'll square them, and I'll give them as the output. Now let us see whether this relation is a function or not. So for this relation to be a function, what should be true? For every element from set A, I should have only one image in the set B. Right? Let us see. Let us check that. Now here you can observe 1 is related to 1, 2 is related to 4, 3 is related to 9, 4 is related to 16, 5 is related to 25. So here you can observe, students, see in the relation function definition, you have to concentrate on two things. First thing is every element of set A should have that sentence, that statement. Every element of set A. Second statement what you should concentrate on is it should have one and only one image. So both these conditions should be verified so that the relation will be a function. Now observe here. If you observe the elements of the first set elements have only one image each. They have only one output. 1 has only one output. 2 has only one output. 3 has only one output. 4 has only one output. 5 has only one output. Means what? Means the elements of the first set A have each element has only one image. If that is true, then this will be a function. Is it blur? Still it is blur. Now check students, is it clear? Is my voice audible enough? Okay, what about video? Is it clear? Please check your network connection. Okay, so this is a function because it is satisfying the conditions of a definition of the function. Every element of my first set has the image. You can call it as, definition can be even written as, every element of set A has unique image. Means for each element in my set A, it will be having only single image. Okay, now you might be wondering, then it might be true for every relation. Let us take one example which is not a function. Let us go back to the example which we had took for relation, students. I hope you all remember that example. We had 3 elements in first set and we had 4 elements in second set. Do you all remember this? Amit, Bittu, Holy, Dawn. Do you all remember, students? Yes, do you all remember this example? And while doing this example turned out to be a relation. We saw that it is a relation, right? Now let us see whether it is a function or not. See, A is mapped to Amit, right? B is mapped to Bittu and B is mapped to Bholi. This was the relation, right? Yes, students? This was the relation. Now observe here, students. This relation is not satisfying both the conditions of the definition. First condition, every element of set A should be mapped. Here in my set A, I have 3 elements, but only 2 elements have images. My third element has no image. So first condition is not satisfied. Also, if you go for second condition, each element of set A should have only one input, image or output in set B. Here you can observe this element B. This element B has 2 images. It has image as Bittu and also it has image as Boli. So this element B has 2 images. So both the conditions of function, definition of function, are not being satisfied. So this relation is not a function. So what did you observe, students? Every function will be a relation, but every relation need not be a function. Example is this. It is a relation, but it is not a function. Right? I hope you understood these 2 examples. Did everyone understand these examples? Understand the definition through these examples? Yes? Everyone? Okay, then let me check whether you have understood it properly or not. Tell me, students, is this a function? Is this a function? See what I told you. My one input can't have multiple outputs. This is the definition of function. Simple language. One input can't have multiple outputs. But multiple inputs can have single output. I repeat, please try to understand. My one input can't have multiple outputs. But my multiple inputs can have single output. What is the definition of the function? You just concentrate on that. It says that every element of first set should be mapped. Yes, of course, if it is every element in the first set, it is mapped. And second condition is it should have only one image. Now let us see. Image of 1 is A, image of 2 is B, image of 3 is B. So it is not it is not like it is not satisfying the conditions of function. It is a function, students, because every element of my first set is mapped and every element of the first set has only one image. See, image of 1 is A, image of 2 is B, image of 3 is B. Don't worry about if multiple inputs have single output. Do not worry about that. This will be a function. You just worry that if single input has multiple outputs or no. If single input has multiple outputs, then it is not a function. But if multiple inputs have same output, then it is okay. It will be a function. Okay? Please make the difference, students. This is one more thing you should study in functions. Single input should not have multiple outputs. But multiple inputs can have single output. Is that clear to everyone? Yes, is it clear? Okay, let me give one more example. Is this relation a function? Of course it will be a relation. But tell me whether this relation is a function or not. Is this relation a function? No. Can you tell me what is the reason? What is the reason? What is the reason, students? Can someone give me the reason? Very good, Sama. You can observe, students, one input doesn't have any output. Very good. This point 4, element 4 in the first set has no output. Means it has no image. So this is not a function. Tell me what about this? Is this relation a function? Observe it carefully. No, why? What is the reason? Every element of my first set has image. Then why it is not a function? See, every element in my first set has the image. Then why you are saying that it is not a function? What is the reason? Very good. See here, this second element 2 has two images. First image is A and second image is C. So my one input has multiple outputs. So this is not a function. This is not a function. What about this? Is this relation a function? My voice is audible, I guess. Now tell me, is this relation a function? Yes, of course it is a function, students, because it is satisfying both the conditions. Every element of first set has an image and every element of the first set has only one image. Right? Although many inputs have single output, it doesn't matter. What it should matter is single input shouldn't have multiple outputs. Multiple inputs may have single output, but single input shouldn't have multiple outputs. So I guess with all these examples, the definition of function is very much clear to you all. Yes, is it clear, students? Definition of the function? Is it clear to everyone? Okay, so it might be now very clear, very much clear, those two statements which I told you earlier. Every function will be a relation, but every relation need not be a function. Right, students? Yes? Okay. Now we shall study two types of functions. We have real functions and second one is real valued functions. we have two types of functions to study. We have real functions and then we have real valued functions. So first let us understand what are real functions. So the functions in which permissible inputs and permissible outputs. I hope you all remember what are permissible inputs. What are permissible inputs? What is permissible inputs in fact? Yes, students? If you remember, then tell me what is permissible input. What it is? Yes, what it is, students? Permissible input. Very good. It is domain. All set of all permissible inputs. It is domain. And what is permissible output? Range. Very good. So I am talking about domain and range. See, I can use different words for them, right? So permissible inputs mean domain, permissible outputs means range. So those functions whose domain and range are real numbers or subset of real numbers, but they should be real numbers. Okay? So the domain and range of the function, both if they are real numbers, then such functions will be called as real functions. Very important. Domain and range, both should be real numbers. If domain and range both are real numbers, then such functions are called as real functions. Coming to real valued functions, we don't know about domain anything. It may be real or it may be not real. But if range is real or subset of real numbers, then such functions will be called as real valued functions. Okay? So what is the difference here? Real functions and real valued functions. If domain and range both are real, then we call such functions to be real functions. And if range is real, we don't know anything about domain. It may be real or it may be not real. But if range is real, then we call such functions to be real valued functions. So I hope these two make the difference, students. Did you make the difference between these two? Real functions and real valued functions? Real functions means both domain and range will be real. But real valued function means compulsory range should be real. We don't know anything about domain. Okay? Is that clear to everyone? Okay. So now let us see next step, graphs of some functions. Let us try to see how does graph of some important function looks like. So let us go one by one. We are going to see the graphs of these functions now. First, let us take the very simple, that is identity function. I hope everyone knows what is identity function. What is identity function? It looks something like, it is defined something like this, right? F of x is equals to x. So identity function is the magic box which will not change anything. Means it will take the input, it will not perform anything, it will give the output same as like that. Means if you give 1, it will give you 1. If you give 2, it will give 2. So it is a magic box which does not do anything. In fact, you can say it is just a simple box, right? It will not do anything. It will just take the input, doesn't change anything, and give the same as output. So I hope if you see, if f of x means what? It is value of y. It is value of y. So this is, suppose this my x-axis, is y-axis, 0, 1, and so on, minus 1, minus 2, 1, 2, 3, and so on. So what is this f of x, students? It is nothing but y. It is nothing but y. So if I make a table here, x and y, if I take values of x here, what is y? It is nothing but f of x, that is x. What is f of y? It is f of x, that is nothing but x. So whatever value you can take for x, my y value will be also same, because how the function is defined, it will not change, right? So if I take minus 2, it will remain as minus 2. If I take minus 1, it will remain as minus 1. If I take 0, it will be 0. 1, 1, 2, 2, and so on. Right? So if you plot this graph, I hope you all know how to plot the graph, students. Do you all know how to plot the graph? In 9th and 10th, you have studied it, right? How to plot the graph. Have you all studied? Okay. So if you plot this graph, you can observe my graph would look something like this. My graph would look something like this, which is a straight line passing through the origin, which is a straight line passing through the center. Right, students? So here one more thing you can observe. What is domain? Domain, what are permissible inputs? It can be any real number, right? So domain will be set of real numbers. What will be range? Range also it will be same. All real numbers are permissible outputs. So range is also R. Range is also R. So here of this identity function, my domain is set of real numbers, range is set of real numbers, because permissible inputs are all real numbers and permissible outputs are also all real numbers. I hope domain and range you understood. Right? Yes, students? Okay. And graph, how does it look like? The graph of identity function is a straight line passing through the center. Okay. So this identity function graph we saw, and also we saw what is domain and range, as well as how does the graph look like. How does it look like? It is a straight line passing through the center. So is the graph of identity function clear to everyone? Is it clear to everyone? Okay, I'll explain it once again. So identity function, it is defined as f of x is equals to y. X means it is, if you take the input, it will not perform anything and give the same as output. So like that it is defined. F of x means what? It is nothing but value of y. So if you prepare a table, we can observe we will get this table. Means for any value of x, my y value will remain the same. And if you plot this, you will get a straight line passing through the center. Right? So you can observe all real numbers will be permissible inputs. Means all real numbers are allowed here. So domain will be set of real numbers. Similarly, all real numbers are permissible outputs. So range is also set of real numbers. Is it clear now? Azaira, it is clear? Okay. Everyone understood identity function, graph, and how the function is defined, domain and range, everything. Is it clear? Okay. So we are running out of time. We have still 4 more functions to learn the graphs of 4 more functions, and after that we have algebra of functions. Okay. So after this, once we study, we will go for the last exercise, that is exercise 2.3. Okay. So as time is up, I'll end with the class. Any doubts, students, from today's class? Definition of the function, please be prepared very carefully. It is very important. Any doubts do you have? Okay then. Thank you all. Have a great day. Once I complete the topic, I'll send the notes. Okay?